Number 10. Fraser Doherty. You've heard of getting out of a jam, but this young man wanted to get into one. And what a delicious jam it was. Fraser Doherty from Scotland made his fortune selling sweet and sticky things in jars, and it all started when he was just 14 years old. His grandmother reportedly showed him the basics in the early 21st century. From there, Fraser used his creative cooking skills to bring maximum fruit flavor to his own product. The name? None other than Super Jam. It took just a couple years for him to get the jam onto the shelves of Waitrose, a British supermarket chain. As one of the most high-profile shops in the nation, this was a big step to success. He later received an MBE, or an Order of the British Empire, for his impressive achievements. Doherty went on to become an author and helped establish a craft beer company, since you might need something to wash all that jam down, right? Fraser also supports good causes, which included caring for the elderly and also community beekeeping. Seems strange that a jam maker would be backing honey, in other words, his competitor. He must just be a generous fellow. Anyways, it helps him generate a buzz, if you know what we mean. Number 9. Riya Sinha. It's pretty cool when someone who isn't even a teenager yet manages to write a book, and it's even better when they take what they learned during the process and use it to help others. That's precisely what Riya Sinha from the US decided to do after writing a fun book aimed at younger audiences. When another young girl who was 6 years old asked her about writing, it led to the creation of a company called Fuzia. Riya co-founded the organization, which now has millions of online followers. So what is it? It's surprisingly simple. The creative platform focuses on female voices and enables women to share their artistic work and make contact with similar-minded people. Next time a young person decides they want to write a book and doesn't have someone like Riya around who can help, they can go to Fuzia and connect with creative types at the click of a button. Riya was reportedly partly inspired by her Indian heritage and the idea of freeing people from social and cultural restrictions. This is an incredible success story, showing that you don't always need a revolutionary machine or gadget to change the world. Sometimes all it takes is imagination, plus a bit of hard work and perseverance, of course. Number 8. Ashley Qualls. Remember MySpace? Long before the days of Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, this site was the place to go for social interaction and all kinds of cool stuff. One of the users contributing to this online community was 14-year-old Ashley Qualls from Detroit, Michigan, and in 2004 she enjoyed designing graphics and also coding, and wanted to share her talents online with a goal to start a business. She produced highly sought-after designs for people's personal MySpace pages. This was part of her work, which soon became a website called whateverlife.com. Over the next 3 years, she climbed to the top of her game. Fellow teenagers like her got into graphic design and coding through the site, and it was profitable too. The ordinary girl earned $70,000 in just a month. This was only the tip of the iceberg. Tech giants were interested in her business, and she was offered millions of dollars if she'd just sell it. But for Ashley, this was a personal journey, and she wanted to do things at her own pace. At the age of 17, she was diagnosed with autoimmune disease, which meant she couldn't run her business the way she wanted to. This could have spelled the end of her business dream, but she eventually started another website called Sick Not Dead. Just as she helped teenagers with their design needs, Ashley now offers support to those coping with serious conditions that want to continue a professional career. Not too shabby for someone that hadn't even turned 18. Number 7. Hart, Maine. When you think of scented candles, your first thought probably isn't a 13-year-old teenage boy. They're usually just playing video games and listening to rock music or something, right? Well, it was a young boy being into scented candles that inspired Richard Hart, Maine from Philadelphia, and he's been described as the youngest successful entrepreneur of the 2010s with his business, Man Cans. How did it all start? With some boy teasing. Hart's sister was the first family member to try and make money with scented candles. Not on a corporate scale, though. It was actually just for a school fundraiser. Hart apparently wasn't impressed, but when he needed a new bike and couldn't afford it, he started getting into the wax himself. The idea initially came from their mother, who presumably challenged him to bring his teenage boy expertise to the field of scented candles. Family bonding, am I right? It was truly a family affair, and over a period of a few months they produced 20,000 candles. Imagine having that many candles in your house. Sounds like a serious money-making fire hazard. Hart's stroke of genius fell on their product's presentation. No girly glass jars for him. He wanted his candles to be something a man could use, so he stuck them in a can. Man, can. See what he was going for? There are also she-cans for women feeling left out of the picture. Thankfully, Hart is a kind-hearted guy and donates a percentage of man-can sales to soup kitchens, meaning cans can be used to feed the hungry. With love and support, he turned his simple idea into a business that will sustain him and his family for life. Would you buy a man can? Let us know in the comments, and if you're liking this video so far, be sure to subscribe to see more from Bad Badger. Number 6. Caine Monroy. Another great idea that was kept in the family came from a young Caine Monroy from LA. Back in 2012, he was just 9 years old, but his age didn't stop him from having a plan. His father ran a salvage yard, and Caine noticed that he was throwing out quite a few cardboard boxes. Using his creativity, Caine took the leftovers and turned them into an arcade. The eye-catching display drew more people to the junkyard, and a filmmaker who was so taken with the child's efforts decided to make a short film about it. All of a sudden, the name Caine Monroy was known around the world. What started as a fun art project was quickly growing into something much bigger. Caine's Arcade provided the starting point for his future. A scholarship fund was established, and money was also generated to help kids just like him through the Imagination Foundation. This creative young man with a flair for invention has a bright future ahead of him, and who would have thought that it would all start with a secondhand cardboard? This shows you have to keep your wits about you if you want to succeed in the business world. Even the unlikeliest material can be the beginning of something truly special. Number 5. Riya Karumanchi. This young Canadian businesswoman put her skills and inquisitive nature to good use when devising a product called the Smart Caine. What's the Smart Caine? It's a cane that can be used by the blind, but there's one big improvement. By sending vibrations to whoever's using it, the cane lets people know when they're coming close to an obstacle. The Smart Caine represents the future of mobility for those with sight issues. Along with some other ideas under her belt, Riya is seen as a real up-and-comer in the inventing community. The Smart Caine arrived in 2020 when she was just 17. She is also reportedly very interested in broadening the applications of virtual reality technology so it can be used in practical situations as well as for gaming. Innovative thinking is what drives society forward, and it's wonderful to see something that does so much good for people. Something like a scented candle is great, but ideas like the Smart Caine really hit the sweet spot for the good of humanity. Number 4. VARUN AGARWUL. Young Indian entrepreneur and creative visionary VARUN AGARWUL has spent his business career aiming high. If his family had gotten their wish, he would have become an engineer. But for VARUN, that wasn't enough. He pursued a different life and achieved his goals. Now he's a major force in the business community, and he did it all before his 30th birthday. How did he go from engineering student to multi-talented entrepreneur? Well, today he has multiple sources of income, but it all started with sweatshirts. Yep, but not just your ordinary sweatshirts. VARUN formed the company Alma Mater, which provides personalized shirts to college graduates. From this stepping stone, he moved into filmmaking and social media marketing. A key part to his thinking is to, well, stop thinking, and especially don't overthink. You shouldn't switch your brain off course, but learning how to conquer your fears is the first part in making your vision come to life. He's living proof that someone can change their destiny through hard work. Think about it, sweatshirts. This guy didn't reinvent the wheel, but now he's a figure who's recognized worldwide for his many talents. Number 3. Shankia Graham White. All this narrating sure makes me thirsty. I could do with a cup of tea right about now, and I know just who to go to for that, the young businesswoman Shankia Graham White. Her abilities are perfectly channeled into the creation of food and drink sensations. She's based in the US currently, and in 2020 joined Navitas Organics, a superfood company that targets North America with all manners of tasty and healthy treats. Shankia grabbed their attention with her mouth-watering plant-based recipes. Another great thing about her is that she managed to do everything herself, experimenting in the family kitchen to cook up different kinds of food. She also became interested in healthy living following the birth of her son. Among the delights she's come out with are vegan peanut butter and pecan milkshakes, kale chickpea soup, and superfood breakfast cookies. Cookies for breakfast? You had us at hello, Shankia. Sounds delicious. We're super hungry just hearing about all the stuff she's made so far, and we can't wait to see what the future has in store for Shankia, and our stomachs, of course. They're growling just thinking about it. Number 2, David Packouz and Efraim Diveroli. If you've seen the movie War Dogs with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller, then you might be well aware it's based on a true story. The real War Dogs were David Packouz and Efraim Diveroli, and their story is a fascinating tale of young entrepreneurship, bravery, and a whole heap of trouble. The gist of the story is that in 2007, Diveroli and Packouz became serious arms dealers for the US government. They were still in their 20s and also supplying weapons to Afghanistan. How'd they do it? By going under the radar and purchasing weapons from the Chinese. Since this isn't allowed in Florida, they pretended the arms were from somewhere else. This bagged them a lot of money. It also landed them in a bunch of hot water. By 2011, the charade was over. The pair were convicted of arms trafficking, Diveroli went behind bars for a few years, but Packouz entered house arrest. When the movie came along in 2016, Packouz was happy to help out. Diveroli reportedly wasn't happy about the fictionalized and over-the-top production, having written his own memoir about the situation. There was also a fair amount of legal trouble with the pair turning on each other. Packouz is apparently still an entrepreneur and involved with a drum machine product called Beat Buddy. Meanwhile, Diveroli now has his own media company. One thing's for certain, if these two guys could talk their way into a government contract worth a cool $300 million, then we reckon they've got a bright future ahead of them in whatever they manage to do. Number 1, Wolf Cukier. We've heard about some super impressive achievements on our rundown so far, but we figure the best has been saved for last. You see, when it comes to Wolf Cukier, the results are out of this world. Literally. In 2019, the 17-year-old from New York made headlines by discovering a whole new planet. What is he, an amateur astronomer? Nope, not yet at least. Wolf had just barely started work as an intern at a little organization called NASA. You probably haven't heard of it. The astonishing discovery of this planet, which is reportedly almost 7 times bigger than Earth, was made on only his 3rd day at the job. We're sure the staff at Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland were celebrating, but you know what? It's likely a few got annoyed too. They've been there for years and all of a sudden this newbie comes along in and finds a planet in his first week. That doesn't take away from his achievement, of course, which is incredible. The news broke in 2020 when Cukier and NASA revealed their horizon-expanding findings. What are they going to call this new world? Planet Cukier or something? Not exactly. Maybe Wolf World? Okay, now that sounds pretty cool. But they actually decided to go with, drumroll please, TOI 1338b. Well, it's better than nothing, we guess. TOI 1338b lies approximately 1,300 light-years away from us in a faraway constellation called Pictor. Is it too much to say that the world is at Wolf Cukier's feet? Either way, he's a cosmic inspiration for young people looking to find their own path to success in the stars. Thanks for watching. Are there any young and successful people you think should have been included on this list? Do you have any world-changing ideas? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time on The Bad Badger.